Good Monday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. It is now March 9th, 2026. For your live weather impact tonight, we're talking more record heat. It's felt like May this early March, that's for sure. It has not felt like March at all. And while I know a lot of folks love this warm weather, even for early spring warm spells, this is getting a little carried away. We're going to talk about some of the, just to put it in perspective, how crazy warm it is coming up. Because the next couple of days, you think it's been warm so far. Wait till you see some of the high temperatures we're going to have before we get a cold front in here. Let's start with the beautiful views today. It's nice out today. Today is more typical of a warm spell early in the season because it's not muggy. Let's be honest. Over the weekend and late last week, not only was it warm, it was kind of humid, and we had two record max lows, which basically means we had record warm low temperatures Friday morning, and again Sunday morning we had low temperatures in the low 60s. That's our average high for this time of year. So to have a low temperature only in the 60s kind of tells you it's pretty warm out there. The views, though, unbelievable. Our Mr. Sparky Camera Network, we've got plenty of sunshine, and yes, it is still sunny at 6:32 because we're at daylight saving time. We set our clocks ahead 1 hour yesterday, so now the sunset tonight in Charlotte, 7:26 p.m. So you get that extra hour of daylight in the evening. You lose it in the morning if you're up early. You know how dark it was. Now, we technically didn't add daylight. I think that's the weird thing. We only add about 2 minutes a day every day, regardless of the time change. We just shifted because of the time change, what part of the day it was brighter, and now it's later in the day. Right now, we've got clear skies. We've got a little storm system off to the west. That's an area that we're watching. But I want to point this out because up in Canada, there is still plenty of cold air. There's plenty of snow on the ground. The Dakotas are starting to cool back down. We are still in early March, so it's going to get cold eventually. It's just a matter of time before we see that drop in temperatures. Now, here was the high today, 80 degrees. That's only 3 off the record, but it's 18 degrees above the normal high. 60 this morning. That wasn't quite the record, but it was pretty close. I think the record was 61 for the warmest low on this date, but that's close to our average high. The average low is 40 degrees, so we should be kind of cool in the morning. You should still need that jacket in the morning. Tomorrow morning, probably still not going to need it, but it will be more comfortable tomorrow morning than we've seen the last couple of mornings. Look at the past 7 days. It's been crazy. Outside of that Tuesday where it was 58 degrees for a high, everything's been way above. In fact, we had 2 80s there. Today was the third 80 of the month. And remember, we had 83 back in February. So that makes 4 80-degree days so far this year. I had to look it up because I thought that seems like a lot. And I was not wrong. That makes 4 days through the 9th of March of 80 plus. That ties for the most this early in the season on record with 2018 when we had 4 days of 80 plus already. So this has been a crazy stretch of warm weather. It's still warm out there now, upper 70s, but it feels different today. This is because the dew points are actually much, much lower. To me, this is a little better. It did feel better out there today. Dew points in the 30s and 40s. That actually means we can cool down a little bit once the sun does go down. So expect temperatures to fall back to more comfortable range. If you had your AC on the last couple of days, I'm sure a lot of folks did, you could probably open the windows tonight. This will actually be a much more comfortable night. 40s and 50s in a few spots, especially north of Charlotte. Could see some upper 40s. Tomorrow, though, you probably want to shut the windows and put the AC back on because it's going to be in the mid-80s, 85 degrees. That's the average high towards the first couple weeks of June, okay, and not early March. So crazy warm weather here. And that southwest wind means we're going to be blowtorching again with humidity. You think tomorrow's warm, wait till Wednesday. I think we could be 87, 86. Both of those would absolutely obliterate the records. I mean, you're breaking records by 3, 4, 5 degrees in some cases. So this is crazy warm weather. Now, with crazy warm weather, you got to watch severe weather. We're going to be talking about severe weather last week coming up here with Tim, but we've got a couple days of severe storms to our west. That front's going to head our way on Thursday morning. Now, right now, the mountains are in the low risk. That's really going to be late Wednesday night, Thursday morning because of that front. But I'll tell you what, that front looks like it's going to fall apart, and I'll show you why on Futurecast. So I think we could see a sprinkle tomorrow morning with the decaying storms back to the west, but I'm not too worry about rain tomorrow. We'll keep the chances at 20% for most of your Tuesday. Now, Wednesday's an interesting day. Really hot, humid day. If we get enough sunshine, could we see a pop-up storm? It's certainly possible. But as we get into Wednesday night, you'll see that front approaches from the west, and it gets here Thursday morning. It looks like it's falling apart. It's the coolest part of the day. Things are kind of collapsing, and it really looks like it doesn't amount to much. So we'll see. It's a pretty strong front. I still expect to see some gusty winds and a cool down, but here's the thing. The air behind it is cooler, but it's actually still slightly above average. It's not crazy cool. It's just that we're so warm now. When we get to near average, it's going to feel chilly to a lot of folks out there. So our rainfall forecast over the next 5 days is really all about Thursday morning. If we don't get decent rain there, the chances over the next 5 days are pretty low. And the drought's still ongoing. The rain would help briefly with the pollen. It doesn't remove it completely, but the pollen's been crazy high. We're starting to see pine pollen show up for the first time in the top 3. Making for some pretty crazy pollen levels for this early in the season. We started on time, and all of a sudden it just went crazy. So now we're seeing pollen levels that we normally would see in early April showing up. But just to show you that there are some big changes on the way. Really warm overnights the next couple of nights. But then Friday morning, we're in the 30s. That will be much colder than we're used to. I think next week is the real shock. We'll be back below freezing. So everybody, we tell you about not planting till after tax day. This is why. It's going to get cold again. It's just too early in the season for us to just go straight into spring. And I do think we're going to see those colder temperatures sticking around. You'll see the long range, 8 to 14 day outlook shows below average temperatures likely creeping back into the Carolinas. So that will set the stage for some cooler weather for the middle and end of the month. And right now we're talking about St. Patrick's Day and beyond, which I'll show you here in a second in the 10-day. But we got to show you our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast first. Look how warm the next 2 days are. A couple records are going to fall for sure for highs. Probably going to have some record warm lows Wednesday and Thursday morning possibly. But then by Friday morning, we're 34 and 63. Cool, but still not that far from average. This weekend, beautiful weekend. Charlotte FC back home against Miami, and Messi coming to town. That should be a great afternoon and evening. 78 on Sunday. Then look at next week. Here comes the shock. St. Patrick's Day, and it cools off. I had this rule of thumb about St. Patrick's Day. That's kind of the date. If you're waiting to see if we're going to get more snow, once we get St. Patrick's Day, the chances decline dramatically. And right now it looks pretty cold. No snow, but definitely cold next week. We'll talk about this, last week's severe weather. Got a lot to talk about coming up in 2 minutes, so stick around.